Hello and welcome back. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the responsible AI, one of the dimensions of the AI. And we are going to discuss what is responsible AI. And before that, we will take an idea of AI, generative AI. What is the meaning of generative AI? And the content that I have taken for this course is from AI 900. So let's see what all is there in this particular lecture. So whatever we are going to cover in this topic in this video is the definition of generative AI, and the next we will see that what are the challenges of generative AI, and then the challenges will basically pose the questions on the on being the responsible at front of generating the data. So how that data which has been generated, how we can ensure that we have generated this data is ethical, is fair, and is accountable, is complete in itself. It is not violating any of the ethical principles. So all those questions are there which are posed by the generative AI, because generative AI generates the content, new content. So then if we can have that kind of data which cannot be responsible, or which can have some ethical issues or other issues which are not following any of the responsible AI principles or some of the responsible AI principles, then what we need to do, how to plan for a responsible generative AI solution, all those things we are going to discuss in this video and in the coming videos. So we will see what is the meaning of identifying the potential harms, like what this is the process of identifying and planning a responsible AI solution. So these are the 4 points at the end, like identify potential harms, measure the presence of these harms, mitigating at various layers, and operating responsibly. All these are the part of the responsible AI framework. When you devise a solution which is a responsible AI solution, then in that case these four need to be taken care of. These four points need to be taken care of while planning for a responsible AI, responsible GenAI solution. So let's see the first thing, the definition of generative AI. What is generative AI? See, Gen AI is nothing but it is, it is consuming the data which is analyzed by the machine learning models. There are various machine learning models. Those machine learning models have been trained on an enormous amount of data available throughout the internet. There is a lot of data over the internet. There are various sources of those kind of data over the internet, and that data is analyzed by various machine learning models. Machine learning models are the mathematical models, and based on the available data, they convert the data into the mathematical mathematical form in the form of numbers, in the form of some kind of digits, and after that it performs various other operations related to the which pertains to the matrix operations, which could be probability distribution, anything, and all those things which are suitable for applying on the data. All those mathematical principles are applied, and the data is collected, and based on that the models are trained. And when you ask some question, then in that case large language model generates a new content for you. What does this mean? This means that suppose if you search something on Google, there are number of websites which are there. Suppose you are searching for something like how to uh, for some recipe, how to cook something, right? So if you are trying to search for that data, for that information over the internet, then it gives you, the Google gives you a lot of links, and following those links you can find out that how I can do this. You get all the raw information, whatever is there on that web page. That web page link is provided to you. You click on that web page and you get whatever information has been given there. Sometimes it may be that this information is of no use for you, right? Sometimes it may be that it is quite a bit useful for you, and sometimes it may be that no, it's not at all useful for me. So in that case, you have to search through the internet, you have to open different links, and you have to find out the best possible thing for you, which you are looking for. But in case of generative AI, this doesn't happen. It doesn't give you the raw data directly. There are number of data points available. There is number of data. There is lot of data available from the various sources over the internet, and the machine learning models analyze that data, analyze your question, whatever you have asked, what is your ask, and based on your ask, it generates its own content. I hope you are getting my point. It doesn't give you the content which is already there, and based on the best possible search and best possible request, best possible analysis of your request. It doesn't give you any of the links. Rather, it open all the all the information pages over the internet. It opens all the web pages over the internet which is related to this content, and from there it brings all that information, and it itself analyzes and creates a new data itself. It generates a new information itself. That information is nowhere written, apart from what large language model is providing to you. If you try to find out where it has been written over the internet, you will not find it. It has generated altogether a new data after analyzing the data which is already available over the internet. That is why it is called generative AI, because it is generating a new data altogether, just like a human being, right? Suppose if you have to write some content on some topic, you go there on the internet, you try to find out the best possible sources, and you search for the number of links, number of URLs you go through, and after that, whatever best possible content you can pick from different URLs, you collect them and you bring a PPT, right? Or you bring a document, whatever. So that thing that you do, that is done by the machine itself now. So since machine is generating the data itself, which is performing the request that you have asked, so that's why it is called the generative AI, because it is generating altogether a new data. That data, that information is nowhere available anywhere on the internet. It simply generates its own self, right? So the machine learning models are trained across lot of data over internet. The machine learning model don't just get the data and present to you. That's what we have discussed. It generates altogether a new information for you. That's why the name generative AI. This could potentially generate some harmful information which could be against the ethical standards. Now comes the role of responsible AI. It can generate that kind of data which is really harmful, that could have some information which is unethical, that could have some information which has been generated, and that information is not up to the mark with respect to the ethical standards, with respect to the responsible AI principles, with respect to the privacy, right? All those things may be violated. So that kind of information need to be suppressed. That kind of information need to be managed in such a way that this information is not reaching to the end user. When he is requesting some information, then he should get all the fair data, all the fair information, which is free from bias, which is not harmful, right? So all that, to get all that and to devise such kind of solutions, so that whatever software you have or whatever system you have, whatever solution you have, that solution should not be doing anything which goes against the responsible AI principles. That's what the purpose of responsible AI principles is. Now come to the RAI framework, which is there to combat these potential issues, right? So what are those issues and what are the RAI framework? So see, these are the points which are related to the RAI framework, and whatever points are there, those are also the concerns, because concerns have been addressed. So accuracy, reliability, these are the concerns, and these are the part of the framework. So whatever is the concern, that is the part of the framework of RAI, responsible AI. Second thing is accountability and transparency. This could be an issue. So that is why this will be the part of the RAI framework, right? Fair and human centric, safe and ethical, secure and resilient, interpretable and documented, privacy enhanced and data governed, vendor and partner selection, ongoing monitoring, continuous learning and development. The last point is like the feedback mechanism, right? Suppose you have something um, got from the system, from your LLM, and after that you trained it. No, I don't need this kind of information. It gets trained after, after a lot of training. It still can giving, might be giving that information which is not following the ethical standards or not following the RAI principles. Then in that case, you give the feedback again and again. So through the feedback mechanism, you evolve your system, you evolve your RAI framework. So for that purpose, this last point is there: continuous learning and development. But the other points are just like, whatever the concerns are there, those concerns have been made the part of the RAI framework. Okay. Now let us see a simple use case which is doing a kind of RAI violation, right? What way the RAI, responsible AI, can help, and what way something could be unethical and that unethical thing could be audited, and based on that, the RAI can help to make the solution, to evolve the solution in such a manner that in coming future it should not do any kind of biasness or any kind of unfair practices. So suppose you are a bank, right? Consider the bank. Consider there is a bank and which gives the loan. Bank gives the loan. So bank is receiving the applications from both the males and females, and uh, when you are receiving the applications from the males and females, then if you say that, hey, I will not give any loan to any females, then in that case, it's a straightforward biasness. So these kind of straightforward biasness can be stopped by filtering. You can be filtered that no, you cannot say this thing. You won't do this thing. There are two kind of person. One person says that no, I don't think that women should have any right. This is one person. You will say no, you are filtered out. We don't accept your thoughts. The second person is that he doesn't say anything. He may be giving the, he may be giving the speeches on women empowerment, and still might be following the kind of practices, might be creating such kind of policies for his organization or such kind of things he can do, so that there is a discrimination, there is a silent discrimination against the women. And that discrimination can only be found if you do the auditing. If you do the auditing. So that's why I have taken this example of bank. Suppose you have got the, applications for both the males and females. You don't say directly that, no, I will not give any loan to women. I will not give. You don't say this. Still, you do one thing. You say that let the applications come. Later on, we will, show some kind of mistakes on some kind of issues to those applications which have been given by the women, and then we will reject them, and we will only give the loans to the men, right? So it may be that you give only 10% loan to the women and rest 90% loan to the men only. So how this will be found that you are following a fair practice in your system? You have a solution. Solution is bank, which is giving the loan. You have a solution. This solution is doing some kind of unfair practice, right? And that unfair practice is that it is not dispersing the loan fairly, right? It is not dispersing the loan fairly. So how it will be found? Because you are not saying directly. No one can directly found that yes, you will do discrimination. How it will be done that you have done discrimination? Based on the auditing, right? So that auditing part is done by the LLM through the responsible AI principles, right? We train our model that this is the data from the bank from the past 2 years. And in this data, we have collected that data where we have taken the applications from the applicants, and then we have dispersed the loans against those applications. So now we can pass that data to LLM. That data will be given to large language model to the LLM, right? And now the AI will come in picture. And now that LLM will be trained to find out if there is any discrimination based on the sex, based on the religion, based on the male or female, based on the sex. If you can see that, just let me know. That kind of training you can do for your system, for your LLM. And LLM, after analyzing your data, it will put some stats in front of you that yes, we have found that the ladies were not taken, were not disbursed that much loan compared to men. And 90% loan was given to men. So that kind of information it can generate for you. And this is the auditing. After this auditing, this opens up the system that how it was doing the discrimination. So for these kind of purposes, the responsible AI principles and the LLM, the responsible AI models are there. Once you find that yes, I have found the problem that this bank was doing this bank might be doing the unfair practices. Now the government agencies will be involved. That what was the reason that you rejected 90% of the loans from applications from the women, right? Why you did that? They might be involved. They will do other level of auditing. That what was the reason why you didn't disburse the loan to women? If the reasons are not making sense, then obviously it was an unfair practice followed through the followed by the bank, right? So in that case, government agencies may put some kind of restrictions on that bank. They may hold them accountable for unfair practices, and they can cancel the license as well, right? So those kind of things could happen. So to avoid these things, that any system before it can do the before it can perform the unfair practices, before that, we need to apply the responsible AI principles at the different layers. Different layers means once you are taking the application from the males and females, and after that, when you are selecting those applications at the selection level, right? And also at the time of selection level, if some application has been rejected, then collecting the correct information, why it was rejected, all that information, collecting that information. After that, the disbursal level, when the loan is getting disbursed, at that point, if you are rejecting at the end moment, then what was the reason why you are not disbursing? So at those levels, the responsible AI checks could work. Your the flow of the process of disbursing the loan can go through the responsible AI process, responsible AI framework. And then at every stage, if you are taking any decision, it can decide, it can have some questions, it can have that kind of filtering that whether the, whether the rejection was making sense or not. If it was making sense, there was some reason, then in that case, it is okay. Otherwise, it will stop you unnecessarily to do any kind of unfair practices. So it can catch, it can audit, and also responsible AI principle, a framework can be created at each layer of the process process flow in a system, in a solution, to ensure that your system is not doing any kind of unfair practices. So this is what the purpose of RAI, responsible AI principles is. And this is how the solutions are devised, and these are the purposes. I mean, sometimes we think that yes, if I ask something to AI, that can you give me the information that how to do something unfair, how to do the discrimination, if you ask these things, it will simply deny it. Because if you are asking something that you need to, do some kind of discrimination, please provide me the, some kind of methods how to kill myself, please provide me some method. So in that case, it can be simply filtered out. For this purpose, RAI principles are not there. This will simply filter it out. Even if you see the Azure OpenAI, and if you are using the Azure OpenAI, and if you ask this question that I want to kill myself, can you just give me some methods? Can you can you just suggest me some methods? Then in that case, the Azure AI will itself say that no, it has been filtered. I will not send it to LLM. This question, this ask is not right. I am just denying it. So that kind of thing it will do, right? So there are few things which can be filtered out at the initial level, and there are few things where things cannot be filtered out at the initial level. There could be a system, there could be a solution which is generating enormous amount of data, and that data could reveal whether the unfair practices has been followed in this system, in this by this solution or not. Just like for the example in this bank, in the case of this bank, right? So this is a hypothetical bank where I have taken the example, so you can understand for what purpose the RAI principles are literally used, right? We have to find out whether the system, whether the solution that we have developed, whatever solution we have developed, no system, no solution is free from data. Every system, every solution is attached to some data. There is some data generated by that system, just like this bank loan application. This is generating some data, it is giving some loan. So if you have given only loan to male and not to the females, then in that case, this need to be audited. If it has been followed fairly, like 60% male were given and 40% female were given, then in that case, it can be understood. It may be that 50-50 was the ratio, then in that case, it's also good. But if there is a big gap, then obviously there is something wrong going on. Maybe this is not right, right? So there is something wrong in the system itself. So there, the RAI principles can be applied. The RAI framework, the solution with respect, the solution within the solution. One solution is there which is disbursing the loan. The other solution is the RAI related framework. RAI based framework. We have created a solution which will monitor your entire system, which will ensure that at every step, wherever the possibility is there for creating a discrimination, for performing any kind of unfair practices, at that layer we can put that responsible AI solution, and we can stop proactively for the system to be unfair or unethical, right? So now the last topic for today: planning a responsible GenAI solution. How we plan for a responsible GenAI solution. The first step is identify the potential harms. You can if you have devised a system, if you have developed a solution, then you can easily identify that what are the potential harms my system can do. Where could be the security issues? Where could be the discrimination issues? Where could be the unfair practices could be followed? Where some kind of wrong information or some kind of unethical information could be stored, right? So, relevant to your planned solution, you can find out what and at what place my solution can violate the responsible AI framework, right? Or responsible AI principles. You first have to identify those points. Then the second thing is measure the presence of these harms. You have to measure whether the you know how much this harm is present. What is the level at which this could harm. If there is a possibility of violating the responsible AI principle, then what is the severity of that? How much severe is that? Right? That is the measurement of presence of those harms. After that, you plan the mitigation at the various levels. So to perform the mitigation, you have to perform the mitigation of those kind of harms which could be possibly there. You have to find out whether I can reduce these, or if I need to put some check, put some monitoring here. So that is the thing where you minimize the risk of introducing the harms, right? And now, after that, the end step is operate responsibly. You need to deploy it correctly. You need to perform a monitoring. You need to perform kind of security check for this solution, whatever you have, the AI solution that you have deployed, so that this solution is effective, this solution is robust, and this solution is continuously helping you to maintain the responsible AI principles within your solution. There is one solution which is providing the customer services, and there is another solution which is ensuring that you are not performing any unethical practices while using the system, while using the solution to give the services to the customer. So this is how the generative AI solutions are planned for a responsible GenAI solutions. There is one thing that there is a GenAI solution, and then there is a responsible GenAI solution. So when we talk about the responsible GenAI solutions, then they are very much focused on the responsible AI principles, which could be violated in a solution or in a system, just like we took the example of bank. So I hope you might have understood this video, and this could have helped you. And you can put your comments in the comment section and ask your questions if you have any, if I can answer, because I'm also new to this area, but yeah, this is really interesting for me. So that's why I'm really focused to learn all these things related to AI, whether it's Gen AI, whether it's Gen AI developer, whatever different kind of things are there. Copilot is there, whatever is there. I just want to learn all of them because that's kind of area which I'm really interested in. So please put your questions. Please share your thoughts as well if you have any, so that I can also learn something new if you have. Right. So that's the end of this video. Please share my videos, and please there is a like button there, so you can simply like it, and there is subscribe button as well. You can subscribe as well if you want. So with that, I would like to say have a nice day, and bye bye. We'll meet soon again in the next video. Thank you.